all right, if you're in this position, you really need to get on top of your finances. Obviously, man preach you should be saving money. Man preach that you should be frugal. You shouldn't be spending money like a fool. But at the same time, you don't want to be in a position where you're watching every single penny, you know, to go and do this, to go and do that, to go and buy this, to go and buy that. That might burn a hole in your pocket. Anyway, driving my car. The fuel reserve light came on. So I'm running low on fuel. Got like 20 miles to go. So I'm like, boom. Went to the petrol station. And this petrol station is set up where you can pay at the pump. It's kind of odd though. You put your card in and you have to put in your PIN first. And it kind of like, it doesn't charge you, but you put your card in, you put your PIN in, and then you remove your card and then you start pumping the fuel. And when you stop, that's when it charges you. You would think that maybe you would start filling up and then you would pay. And then, you know, it would charge you that way. But anyway, because it's no different to filling up your car and going inside the kiosk to pay. So anyway, you put your card in, you put your PIN in, and then it says remove the card and then you start pumping and that, and then it charges you afterwards. So boom. So I done that, started pumping up my car, started filling up the car. And I've got my back to the machine where it displays how much litres of fuel and what the price is and that. So anyway, I just have my back to it because I know I'm filling it up full tank. I don't care how much it costs. I need a full tank. Anyway, I'm looking around. I see a couple people pull up in Mercedes. Nah, I'm joking. Anyway, I'm looking around and I'm like the only person that isn't watching the fuel gauge and that. And I thought to myself, are these people watching the fuel gauge because that's just like the normal human thing to do? Or are these people watching the fuel gauge because, boy, they've only got £20 to put in their car? Trust me, there's people right now, no matter what car they got, whether it's a Mercedes or a Honda or a BMW, they can only afford to put £20 in their car. If you're in that position, you need to make some changes. If you're in that position, you need to start saving money. If you're in that position, you need to live more frugal, my brothers and my sisters watching this right now. Trust me, I remember I've been to places with gal, and I remember I walked into like this waffle place, and it was the first time I went there, but the other person had been there like a couple of weeks ago. When they went there, there weren't that much people in this waffle place. So anyway, when I've gone in there with this person a couple of weeks later, they're like, wow, there's quite a lot of people in here. So I was like, yeah, cool, it's Saturday anyway, what'd you expect? Anyway, boom, sat down, and they went out of their way to mention it again. Like, why is it so packed in there? I'm like, Saturday innit? Like, yeah, people want to get waffles and that. And then the person said, do you know what it is? It's the last Friday of the month, so everyone gets paid. So I'm like, yeah. And she was like, well, that means that people all got money. I'm like, oh my days. People still live like that. Like, people need to get paid from work in order to go and enjoy themselves and that. And I remember going to Shoreditch. And I remember I was linking up with my cousin and his brothers and that. And we were supposed to go one particular weekend. And they said, you know what? Nah, fuck it. Let's not go this weekend. Let's go in 2 weeks' time or whatever. Because there was one time we went to Shoreditch and it was dead. The reason why it was dead and the reason why the man then wanted to go in 2 weeks' time is because people them had no money. So if people ain't got no money, they're not going out and that. And trust me saying this now, yeah, you will notice when you go out to places that's like the place to be, Shoreditch and that, you will notice it's going to be a bit more packed, it's going to be a bit more lively when it's payday weekend and that. Fam, how can you live life like that? How can you live life? Oh, I can't fill up my tank, or I can only put 20 or 30 pound in my tank. If that's you need to make some changes. Honestly, when I go down to Edmonton, obviously my motorbike's down there, so I don't get to ride my bike when I'm up here in Northampton. I only get to ride the motorbike when I'm down in Edmonton. And my mum said to me, like, how much do you like fill up? Like, how much does it cost to fill up the bike and how long does it last? I was like, Mum, honestly, I will take the bike out for a ride. And let's say, yeah, the tank is basically empty. It's on reserve. When I take the bike out my mum's yard, I'll go and fill it up. It will cost me like £20, and that's about 14 litres. Yeah, bikes are small. They can only hold like 15 litres or something like that. So I'll fill up the bike. It'll cost me like £22, something like that, whatever, innit? I'll say, Mum, you know that £20 that will only last me for 2 hours, you know. She's like, what? I was like, yeah. I literally put £20 in the bike and go and blow it on the M25 and the M1. Obviously, revving the bike up. Obviously, doing the 130s and the 140s and that. Obviously, I'm going to be killing the petrol on that. But me, I'm just in a position where I can go and waste money like that. Most people would never dream of filling up their motorbike or filling up their car and going out and blowing £20 in one go. Obviously, it's my little vice. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I'm not a cat blood. I don't get involved in no weed burning and smoking crack and shooting up heroin. I don't do that. So that's my little vice. But you don't want to be in a position where you're watching the pennies. Trust me, I know people. Their sister lives in a different part of the world. Their sister's come back to the UK and that. And this person said to me like, oh, fuck's sake, man. Like, when my sister comes over and that, she wants to go out to a restaurant every single day for like the 2 weeks that she's here. She needs to realize I ain't got that kind of money and that. You should be in a position, I'm not saying that you should be doing it, but you should be in a position where, maybe not every day, but you should be able to go out every other day to a restaurant. Me personally, if I really wanted to, I could go to Miller & Carr every day and eat dinner. Literally. Because man's worked hard. You get me? Man's got money coming in from properties and that. A little bit. Big up to the man them who subscribe to the Patreon and that. Little bit of money coming from the Patreon and that. Man, I'm set. I don't need to worry about putting £20 in my car and that. Even, I remember when they raised the prices of the petrol and that, people were talking about, yo, it's £1.80 per litre and that. Like, how am I going to fill up my tank and that? I was just thinking like, all right, yeah, it's a bit of a rip-off and that, but I'm still going to fill up my tank. I'm still going to put as much petrol as I can. Like, I'm still going to fill it up to the brim. I'm not going to think, oh, I only put £20 in and that. Nah, man. Even like with gas and that, I'm on a top-up meter. Obviously, I'm here most of the time on my own and that, whatever. Or if like my girl's here or whatever, it doesn't really matter, innit? Yeah. But the thing is, we just occupy one room. So I don't want to have the gas on all day long to heat up a 3-bed house when we're only occupying one room. But it is what it is. I can afford to do it. Some people, trust me, I go to people's showers and that. And you go in and it's like they have not put the heating on in years. I did meet a guy as well. He's like 70 years old, 75 years old. He told me he hasn't turned his gas on in 3 years. I'm like, what type of life is that? So like, you've been born, grown in this country, and you get to your old age, and he's still healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a man broke in his yard in the middle of the night, yeah, you're going to have to do something because he might have you up. Seriously, this guy's 75, but yeah, he's still strong. Myself, you're 75 or whatever, you're born and grown in this country where it's the land of opportunity and that. And you get to your old elderly age of 75 and you're not even in a position where you can heat up your house. You can't even turn on your heating at all. A man's not turning on his heating for 3 years and that. What kind of madness is that? God forbid I'm in a position where I can't heat my own fucking home. That's one thing man don't play about with. Man don't play about with sitting in cold houses and that. Trust me, there's people right now sitting in their yard and they're like, nope, I'm not turning on that heating until it's like right in the middle of winter, you know, like late December's, early January's and February's and that, until it's freezing cold. I'm about to go upstairs and turn on the heating now. I'm just here on my own. 3-bed house, I'll heat up the whole entire house. No problem. The thing is, I've got a little fan heater here as well. And the reason why I do turn on the heating and heat up the whole entire house as well, because it's all well and good putting on the fan heater and having this room set to 25 degrees. But then the rest of the house is 17 or even 16 degrees and that. You don't want to go from one room that's at 25 degrees to a next room that's 16, 17. You don't want to be walking in and out of the cold. It's so warm in one room and cold in the rest of the house. When I walk out of the warm room and go to the rest of the house, it's like someone has left the door or window open and that. So I don't play about with not heating up the house and that. I get it. Obviously, you want to save money in that because these gas prices are a rip-off and that. And out of sheer principle, no one wants to be paying these gas prices. And a blind man can afford it because I set my life up. So, yeah, man, it only comes from putting in the work and making sacrifice. Anyway, man, that's it for today, man. Stay wise. Ton, no.